Welcome to the Vineet Loya Show. The goal of this podcast is to share the knowledge and wisdom I accumulated from various sources, such as listening to amazing podcasts, or watching creative videos, TV shows, and movies, or reading insightful books, or having meaningful conversation with people in real life. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did while creating it. Now, let's just assume that this reality is collectively simulated. So, I'm real for me, you're real for you, and individually, everyone is real for themselves. And let's just say we all believe that we all are real as well. But the reality as a whole itself is a simulation. Like I said, about the video game, like if you go back to a multiplayer video game where all of your environment is simulated, but the players in there are in some sense real because everyone is doing their own things. So if it's a multiplayer simulation like reality, then we collectively affect each other, and which is pretty much true. Like, if you want to help somebody, and if you do, then you do affect their life, and it goes other way around too. So basically, all of us are collectively playing a part. And if you heard about butterfly effect, it just means that our actions can create a ripple of different effects. So if you are hostile to somebody and just started cursing them while driving on the road because they cut you off or something, or whatever may be the reason, it will create a butterfly effect in their life because they will take that hate and pass it on to some other person, and that will create this chain effect altogether. And that's basically what butterfly effect is. And likewise, if you're compassionate towards somebody, it will hopefully create that butterfly effect as well. So all of us are playing some part in it, some more than others for sure, because depending on the degree of influence we all have, it will vary. So if a president or a prime minister take an action, that affect pretty much everyone in that country. So the degree of influence is much higher than whatever the hell I do. So we all are playing a role in this collective reality. And also, if you look at it in a way, we all get to upgrade within this reality when all of our species act collectively, right? Or at least most of us, right? Because there are the beauty of current world is that you will find majority of the countries in a civilization, whatever the hell that means. But there are also a lot of tribes and hunters and gatherers who want to live their life connected with nature. So I'm not saying that we are upgraded, the one who's living in civilization is upgraded, because that's actually not true at all. But what I'm saying is, when we all upgraded ourselves in some sense by the virtue of our consciousness, by how we started connecting with the nature, how we started connecting to each other, how we started using the instruments of voice to create words and language. Because even if you're in hunter-gatherer community, you have the vocal cord and you're creating language, you're using language. So that's an upgrade than a lot of other species. And to be fair, I'm just comparing apple to oranges, because a lot of other species use language as well. It's just that we don't know what they are saying or how they are saying. In fact, a fascinating video I watched recently was how bees communicate, like honeybees communicate within the hive. and they do this really interesting dance to kind of point out the exact location or the source of the food. So, who am I to tell what exactly language is? Even if you're dancing and communicating with your, bee wings and are able to pass on the information, that's a language in its own. And it's a complex language, but it's a language of its own. So I believe all of us are very, very intelligent. When I say all of us, I mean all the species are intelligent. Some of us, like humans, have been able to take advantage of the natural forces and advance our, I guess, life altogether, because we don't have to worry about the predators out there. It's satisfying to sleep without worrying about any lion or tiger prying their eyes on us. So, it is really satisfying, and that's the reason we are able to use the benefits of our mind and body, if you think about it. Because I was just thinking about why there has been scientific revolution in the past 500 years. To be honest, I believe there has been periods in the history when there were scientifically advanced civilization. We just lost most of that data altogether. So we ended up reinventing a lot of the concepts and whatnot. But in the current modern era, the science itself evolved in past 500 years. And why did that happen? If you look about, if you look into it, you'll see that in the past 1,000 years, 2,000 years, or more likely in past 500 years, the civilization around Europe at least have been relatively speaking stable. And I get it. They were waging war everywhere. They were doing a lot of atrocities. But what I mean is, like, the normal person has capacity to invest their time, energy, and intention into the mystery of the universe, to learn about the universe, instead of worrying about the wars, or survival for that matter. So that created this whole new scientific era altogether. And I believe that when all of us rise to the level where we are not fighting within ourselves, where we are peaceful within ourselves, so we are not imposing our will on other people, or not dictating how they should live their life because we follow a specific lifestyle. Once we get to that level where people are doing what they love to do instead of what they need to do to survive, instead of, let's just say, working 9 to 5, if they instead develop their concepts of mathematics, or do painting, or produce music, or do stand-up comedy, or anything for that matter, then I guess we will reach to the level where most of us will be consciously upgrading to the next level. And I guess when most of us will get to that level, we'll be able to solve would be far fetched for sure, but we'd be able to peel more puzzles from the mystery of this whole reality. Because, in the past 500 years, as a scientific process evolved, we have seen different mysteries within our reality. the physical laws, the laws of thermodynamics, then the quantum physics altogether, which is a very mind-boggling mystery. And even at the larger scale, the physics of dark energy and dark matter, it's very, very complex, and no one is able to figure it out yet. So when most of us will get out of this 9 to 5 rat race and do actually what we love to do, I bet like there will be more minds trying to resolve these different mysteries of this reality, and hopefully we'll be able to progress farther. And personally, I don't have any problem with 9 to 5. I mean, people who love to do that, it's good for them. In some sense, I see the value of doing it as well, because most of the people are still trying to find their life's purpose. And when they see that just by going to a job, they would be able to sustain their lifestyle and maybe able to find something which they'll actually love to do, then that totally makes sense. In fact, that's how I started, right? Because I have no idea what I want to do with my life when I was out of high school, and I feel that would be ideal way to define most of the people who come out of this education system to begin with. And then I know that I have analytical mind and I love engineering, so I got into engineering, then went from bachelor's to master's, and then what now? Then I'm in do what the world is doing, go and join a company. So did I. And for 6 years I was working there. And to be honest, like most of it wasn't even close to what I got my degree in. And that's fair too, because it's my personal choice. It's not that anyone forced me to be there, right? So it's my personal choice, and I choose to continue to work that. And doing that, I realized what I really want to do, or love to do rather. So, and still it took me a while to kind of act on it, right? But here I am. And that's what I mean when most of the people will get into this 9 to 5 job. Maybe they'll figure out what they love to do, and they will be focused on putting their time, energy, and intention towards, their craft, their art, and that will result in more innovations. But it's fascinating how this whole reality is coming about, because there is a good argument that it is a simulation, because as we peel every layer of the reality, we discover something new. So it could be like a infinite puzzle box, right? So maybe we will never be able to find a source for this puzzle. And now the unique part about all of this is we have two different puzzles. One in the most micro level, at the most micro or nano or femto or whatever level, because at the when you scale yourself down, it's a different mystery altogether with quantum physics. And one is at the macro level. When you scale everything up, then it's a different mystery with black hole, dark matter, and dark energies. So it is really interesting, because now we have two more puzzles to solve. And I believe that once we solve that, we may have more puzzles down the road. So that kind of inclined me to say that we may be living in a simulation. And if we are, then the best part of this would be that we can create the simulated reality we want to, individually as well as collectively. collectively, I hope that we have a better planet and we become like an interplanetary species, so we can just, fly to Mars, fly to other planets, and explore the space. Uh, and individually, all of us can attain our desired goals, provided we put in all our time, energy, and intention in it.
Thanks for listening. I hope you find our one sided conversation valuable. Kindly share it with people in your life. I would love to hear back from you. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Vineet Loya. Also check out my website vineetloya.com. Enjoy rest of your day and stay peaceful.